I don't know about you all, but this episode was all over the place. From Meri's paint night, which was interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I learned a few new things about vegetables.
To Tony and Mykelti getting caught in a hailstorm and a tornado. And of course, it wouldn't be Sister Wives without the Brown family moving once again.
Yeah, watching Kody and Robyn haul boxes has basically become a tradition at this point. And when the producer asked, is it difficult to move without the family's help? The silence was super awkward.
Yep, let's dive into it.
Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Sam.
And I'm Melissa.
I was raised in a family with 4 moms and 35 kids. We were members of the FLDS Church, which is a polygamous group run by their prophet, Warren Jeffs, who is now serving a life sentence in prison.
I was raised mainstream LDS in Utah. Sam and I have been married for 11 years and have 2 awesome kiddos.
Yes, we do. We're back at it with Sister Wives, season 20, episode 3 at this point.
Yes, this episode was kind of crazy. I feel like now following so many different storylines, it's becoming less intertwined. You can definitely tell that all of the families talk a lot less. And so everything feels like completely separate storylines. Instead of seeing how they connect, there really is very little connection. Like every time someone goes, even with moves, it's like, oh, we didn't know they were moving. Or, oh, yeah, they told us they were moving, but we didn't go help. We didn't see them before. Like, it's very, very disconnected at this point.
When season 18, I believe it was, came out, that was the first season that we watched before going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So we reacted to season 18. Thank you to all of your suggestions and asking for it. And boy, we were met with so many unanswered questions in season 18.
Yeah.
They were still together. Imagine someone starting Sister Wives in season 20 with the different storylines jumping around from this person to that person to Carolina to Las Vegas to where is it?
Flagstaff.
I almost said Kanab. I don't know why. Flagstaff. And so it's all over the place with so many different stories. I missed Salt Lake City area as well.
And Parowan.
Oh, yes.
Which is where we have to start.
They're all over.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Very, very separate. Very separate lives. Meri trying to move on, dating. She did match with Ron, which we thought maybe not. The fact that we're all like waiting, this like, okay, what's going to happen next? Like, it's going to be interesting to see a guy, if she can find someone as open as David was to being filmed and being in the spotlight so immediately. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because that takes a special person who's going to want everything about their lives, everything about their courtship, and I'm sure their marriage and things like that to be so public. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. But paint night was super hilariously awkward. I think what made it even more not awkward, but like made it funny to me was that Meri keeps being torn between this, like, you could tell all of her religious upbringing has her being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're doing this. And then there's like that piece of her that wants to have that freedom and being like, well, I'm like a 50-year-old woman. I can do what I want. And I can paint an eggplant if I want and have it be funny. And at the same time, you can see some of those moments of like, oh my gosh, like embarrassment for her.
Yeah, well, it's hard to shake. And in her situation, she was a part of that religion for a very long time.
Yep.
I mean, for me, I was only a part, well, I mean, that's still a long time, but I was only a part of the religion I was raised in for 18 years. And still to this day, there are things that are just hard to shake. They're just ingrained in you to the point where even if you don't want to feel a certain way, you can't help it. And I think for that reason, sometimes Meri might feel a little bit awkward about certain topics because we know, especially in polygamy, you can't really talk about sexual things at all because it can get even more awkward. I mean, in a normal family with one husband and wife, you still have to be careful around kids, hopefully. I know some people aren't, but somewhat careful. But if there are other wives involved, you have to be extremely careful or the jealousy comes out.
Well, and Meri, out of the 3 wives that have left, I think Meri is probably the most closely tied to the religion. She got a spiritual release, meaning she thought that there was value in that. You know, Christine didn't. Christine's been clear that she has moved away from the religion, but Meri doesn't talk a lot about her spiritual beliefs and where she is. She's mentioned that she's not interested in plural marriage anymore, but I feel like she still has a closer tie to the religion than the other two ex-wives at this point.
Yeah. I wonder if she were to find someone and marry someone that is an active member of the mainstream LDS church, if she would continue believing in and going to church, the mainstream church. I wonder if she would.
I think it would be hard with Leon.
Yeah, it just depends on the family, on the individual. Some people have a hard time being in the church and disagreeing with some of the church's stances on
LGBTQ issues.
Exactly, on all of those things. And so, yeah, maybe it would be very difficult. It just depends on the person.
Yeah, I also am curious how that affects her with the AB currently as well, her being Meri. Like, wondering if that has an impact on her relationship with other family members in the church. So there's all sorts of dynamics there as well that I don't know where she's at spiritually. So it's hard to know if she's going to look for a guy who's LDS or who has, Christine kind of lucked out that she met David, who had family that had been in plural marriage, so he understood it, even though he didn't want to live it, right? So there's those moments of like, at least he understands it. And Meri's already mentioned that that's something that's hard, like having someone who understands it, someone who's not going to make jokes about it, someone who is going to respect her family that's still in it, right? There's like so many deep facets to finding somebody for Meri, but obviously I hope she does find someone and finds love. But it was a very interesting little paint party.
Yeah, I wonder, I don't know that there's going to be anything more with Ron. Unless she was trying to hide her feelings for the purpose of the show or something, but she didn't seem that excited.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it just was the only date that wasn't like cringy on the speed dating. And so they were like, oh, well, we matched. We'll see if he reaches out. But
they had a girls' night and had a good time painting and laughing and having a jolly old good time. I have to wonder if they came up with the topic of what they were painting on their own, or if it was because it didn't.
Yeah, Meri kept saying like, I don't know how it turned into this.
Happen?
How did this happen? Right?
Anyway, probably her friend Jan. She's always up to something mischievous.
Yes, or a producer's choice where they're like, how can we make Meri's situation more interesting, right? Like, how can we make her
too boring? Let's make her feel awkward.
She's just like living in her dream house in Parowan.
Yeah.
Parowan is a very, very, very small town in Utah, if people don't know, and yeah, so maybe producers are trying to help spice up anything they can for Meri. I don't know.
It's possible.
The next big thing was obviously Tony and Mykelti moving across the country and Christine and David helping. And Christine was cracking me up because I felt like I was watching exactly how my mom would act. If we moved across the country, I was like, oh my gosh, Christine is my mom.
Yep.
Because it would be the same exact thing. Like, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you're happy. But like, are you trying to rip out my heart and stomp it into a million pieces? Like, is that your goal here? And I'm going to cry all day tomorrow when you can't see. Like, that would be 100% how my mom would be.
The only thing I would say that differs there is I think your mom would be more willing to follow. Because Christine is definitely, and she mentions this, she's very set on
staying in Utah.
She loves Utah. She doesn't have anything, or at least not a lot good to say about living anywhere else. And I don't think she dislikes North Carolina. I think she just dislikes anywhere but Utah for her to live.
Yeah, well, for so long she wanted to stay in Utah and she was torn away from it against her choice, right?
Yeah,
so true. I can see that. Also, my mom, we're the only ones who live near her right now, so it'd be easy for her to follow. But Christine even mentioned she had other kids that are still in Utah. And so to just follow one kid when there's still a bunch of kids there, it would be a whole different ball game if we lived close to like all of my siblings.
That's a valid point, because I don't think your mom would leave some of the family to follow another
just one
portion
kid
of the family. Nope.
Exactly.
Yep. You're right. Good point.
So,
Good point.
Anyway, that was interesting. It was crazy to see their windshield cracking. I have never
in the tornado.
Woo-wee.
I've never been in a tornado. They were in where were they? Nebraska.
Was it Nebraska?
I think it was Nebraska.
Oklahoma.
No, Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely Nebraska. I was questioning myself. Now I'm 100% sure.
Okay, I don't think I wrote this down.
Watch me be wrong. Nebraska, definitely. Fact check it. But anyway, I've never been in a tornado, and the based on the craters in the windshield, those must have been some big chunks of ice.
That's just wild. Like, we just don't get storms like that here in the West. And so watching it, and then when she was talking about just being terrified and like trying to like hide the kids' face, I'm like, oh my gosh, what do you do when it's just the weather against your car? And they obviously got off and tried to go into a hotel, but still, like, that would be terrifying. I'm with Mykelti. No fun. David is crazy for wanting to track down tornadoes and being sad that he missed the storm. I'm
sort of obsessed with the weather as well. I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would chase.
He is obsessed with the weather, you guys.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
I don't know that I would chase a tornado, but
you would love to watch one.
I would love to be near one just to kind of experience it. I wouldn't want to be knocked over the head with a chunk of ice, but
I think it's been too long since we've watched the movie Twister. Have you actually?
I have seen it.
You have seen it? I was going to say,
it was a long time ago, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's been too long. And maybe we could just watch some movies, some documentaries. See, I'm fine just watching it through Tony Mykelti's phone camera, and we're getting to see how it looks. And I'm like, that is wild. I believe you. And I don't really feel like I needed to be there by any means.
It'd be one of those things where if you could just watch it come, and then once it started getting a little bit too intense, you could just like hide underground, like you had a place to go.
Okay, so if you knew you could be 100% safe and still watch it.
Like you just see it coming and it's just like gonna eat you up, and then you're like, and hide, and then it doesn't eat you up.
You just laugh at it. You're like mocking the tornado.
Yeah.
I have a plan. You can't get me now.
Yeah, obviously I don't want to make light of a tornado because
they're serious.
There are people that can hide from them. They have shelters, but it still destroys their property and destroys their things, and it does kill people. So I've never experienced one, so I probably shouldn't make fun of this at all. But I've always been curious about them because I've never experienced them.
Yeah. No, he would have been there with David being like, well, if we turn around and we go back just a little ways, could we see it and still be safe? Like, could we just chase it like a little bit? You would totally be doing that.
Yeah.
So, and of course they had to have, there are so many things where I'm like, we've just watched the Brown family move so many times. And whether it's Kody and Robyn or whether it's Tony and Mykelti, you got to have a tire blowout.
Yep.
You've got to have something dramatic happen. Like, that's never an easy, just
there's always something.
Smooth sailing. Maybe Janelle's.
When they moved Janelle, I'm trying to think if there was anything that
dramatic
happened. They didn't show.
Maybe Janelle had the least dramatic move, but it feels like for the most part, there always has to be something that keeps it interesting. Yeah. Their house in North Carolina, that was so cute. I'm so jealous of their green. We live in Las Vegas.
Their backyard forest.
Oh my gosh, you guys. We live in... Sam has made our backyard a little oasis. We have a little bit of real grass. We do have like a tree for shade, which is really rare in Las Vegas, and it's great. But
don't worry, it's a small amount for all of you that are
concerned
about
the water,
preserving water.
Very, very careful with that. Very small amount of grass.
I just fertilize it a lot so that it stays green.
But man, every time I see the green, I'm like, oh my gosh, because it's so deserty. It's either like desert or concrete jungle. That's what we got going on here in Las Vegas. So
yeah, we do understand that there are a lot more bugs in green places, so that's something that you'd have to get used to. But they're for some reason here in Las Vegas, we're in a desert. It's like no animals can live here. Go away. And yet there are a couple times a year that we get so many mosquitoes.
Yeah, it's weird.
We go into
our little tiny bit of water.
Yeah, our backyard, and we're out there for 10 minutes. We come back and we all have mosquito bites. So I don't know why that's a thing. Somebody please help me understand why.
Yes, anyway.
Aside
from mosquitoes and weather. See, we're going back to weather again. He loves the weather, you guys. But also while they were moving in, we found out that Maddie is pregnant with their next baby.
Oh, yeah.
Baby number 4.
Casually threw that out there.
Just casually going to have another baby, which at this point should have already happened because she said March. So I think she would probably already have that baby. But so that's super exciting for them. Tony and Mykelti. Tony seemed very firm that they will not be having any more babies, that they are done with their 3 that they have.
Yeah.
And so that was cracking me up. And he's like, if there's one thing I learned from Kody, the more kids. And she's like, it was so funny. Mykelti's like, I think there's a difference between 4 kids and 18 kids. Like, maybe there's a difference there. And
or 35 in my case.
Yeah. And Tony's like, nope. principle still applies. We're good. We're good with our 3.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny.
It's just a completely different lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, for us, we have 2, and I am content as can be.
Yeah.
I had an amazing time growing up with so many siblings around me. But at the same time, now that I'm the parent, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah, people ask us that
interest.
sometime, like, oh, but he grew up with so many siblings. Is that what you guys wanted?
Yeah.
And I'm the oldest of 4. And I always thought that we would have 4 or 5. That's what we thought when we got married.
Yep.
We both agreed 4 or 5. But I also had complications and almost died giving birth. So all of my pregnancies from here on out would have been really risky. I think that played a huge factor.
For me, it did, for sure.
For me too. It wasn't worth the risk to try to keep having more children. And on top of that, once we had the 2, we both felt complete. So it worked out in every way for us to have 2. But yeah, definitely nowhere near. There was never a time though where he was like, oh, can we have 12 kids because I grew up with 35? I would have been like, absolutely not. That wasn't 4 or 5 would have been our max, which is an average size in Utah.
Yeah.
So that wasn't crazy talk or anything. Leave in the comments, what is considered the normal amount of children in your area? Because I feel like it's geographical too. And then within religions as well. So my mom grew up in Chicago, and she all of her family looked at our family like crazy for having 4 kids. But then since my mom raised us in Utah, having 4 kids was a pretty average number. Definitely not. You didn't consider yourself a big family until you had 6 kids, I feel like.
Yeah.
Anything less than 6 kids was average. 3 to 5 was pretty normal. 2 is very few. Even we got a hard time for only having 2,
Right.
That was, people would say that. In Utah, here in Vegas, we don't get that same problem.
I was going to say, it seems, and correct me if I'm wrong, those of you out there that have seen a different side of this, but it seems that those that live in really big cities have less kids.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And those that live more rural
Yeah.
have more kids. It just seems to be, for some reason, that just coincides. Maybe it's because the people that want a lot of kids don't like the city life, and so they choose to live elsewhere.
Because it'd be hard to have a lot of kids in a city too.
But do you think it's because it would be hard, or do you think it's just those type of people that want lots of kids don't want to live in the middle of a big city?
Yeah, I don't know. But I want to know if it's all just religious aspect, or if there's a geographical component to what's a lot of kids, what's not a lot of kids. Tony and Mykelti are choosing 3. Maddie and Caleb are going on 4, but we don't know whether or not they're going to continue to have more kids. Maybe they're about to have a huge farm.
Yeah.
I don't know. That kind of matches up to what you were saying. Super sweet that Maddie's baby is due on the anniversary of Garrison's death.
Oh, yes.
That was so sweet that the whole family felt that so deeply, and just how much Garrison will love their baby, and just it being a full circle moment for the family. It just seemed like all of them, it meant so much to them. That was so sweet.
I love seeing how involved Garrison is still in their lives,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's just one of those things, and maybe now that I'm getting older, I just want to make sure that I leave something good behind, right?
Yeah.
And so seeing someone that in such an unfortunate way left this earth, being so involved and talked about and just
Positively
remembered and all, it just makes me very happy to see that.
Yeah, it made such a positive impact and still continues to do so. Mykelti talked about the fact that all the siblings grew a lot closer, and that was a huge reason why being, 3, I think they said 4 hours away from Maddie and Caleb, and having the cousins be able to be close and stuff meant so much to them. So super, super sweet. Great to hear that the siblings are remaining close, whether or not they're going to patch things up with Kody, as it sounds like Kody's hoping for. I mean, he claims that's one of the reasons why him and Robyn did decide to move across Flagstaff, which was the next big thing in the episode.
Yeah, that happened a lot quicker than I expected, because
Me too.
the second episode of this season, they brought it up, and then we start in episode 3, and boom, we're moving. It's happening. Done.
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess when you don't have 3 other wives,
To
then
decide
you can
things.
move and get things done a lot quicker, maybe. But it happened really quick.
It did. Even Robyn said, oh, we were thinking about it for a couple of months. And then they had 30 days, and it seemed like everything went super fast, and all of a sudden they're moving. So I'm like, dang, but you're right. They didn't have other wives to consult with. It seemed like Kody had honestly pretty much made up his mind already that that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
And at the same time, didn't it always feel like all of their moves were rushed? Like when Kody decided, I get that the first time they say they were like, you know, they had to leave because of the state of Utah, right? So that one, leaving in the middle of the night type of thing. But even in Vegas, it was rushed. Like, we have to get to Flagstaff. We have to get to Flagstaff. It doesn't even matter if our houses are sold. Like, they were driving back and forth. Vegas to Flagstaff is not a short drive.
We've done it recently.
Yeah. And it's like, so they were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with these houses that weren't sold, all because Kody needed to get there as quickly as possible. So I feel like it kind of matches with Cody's timeline of when he decides he wants to move. It just happens.
Yeah,
fast.
when he wanted to move from Vegas to Flagstaff, he wanted to move way quicker than they did.
Yeah.
And it's because there was some pushback from the other wives.
Yeah, and then the market wasn't good for selling either.
No, and he just like, nope. When he makes up his mind, it happens. He's like, no, it's going to happen no matter what anyone else says. And it seems as though Robyn's on board.
Yeah, this time, yeah, it does seem like she's on board. I think for her, it seems like she's hopeful that the new house equals the new beginning that they keep saying, right? Because as much as, I don't know if I fully buy, and we'll get into all the comments on the last video in a second, but as much as I don't fully buy this idea of like the memories in the house, you know, Robyn was talking about, oh, she also had depression in that house. Whether or not the bad things around them happening while they were living in that house actually had an impact or not, either way, I think for them moving still could symbolize something new. And Christine even said that. She's like, oh, the more that we talk about it, like, it makes sense that they're going to want to move to a different house. It makes sense that they would want something new, something that represents just the two of them, their new life, their, you know, all the things. So I don't know how much I buy that it's this, oh, so that grandkids can come, kids can come home, and grandkids, and the room for truly. A lot of you guys left awesome comments in our last video about the fact that, like, it's not bigger in bedrooms. It's bigger in like the main areas of the house, right? So you're seeing these big lofts and bigger kitchen, you know, these other rooms.
Which he points out.
Which he pointed out too. I hope that there is a bigger room for Truly, you know, space for Truly, like Kody said.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He did say there is this extra room for Truly when she comes. So
yeah, I hope that that's
I hope
true.
that means there is an extra room in this house. It's much bigger.
Yeah.
In square feet, so I hope it could, you know, fit more people. I couldn't quite tell. Are there other like smaller buildings on this property? When they zoomed out, it seemed like maybe it wasn't just one big house.
I think someone left in the comments that has a guest house or something attached to the property, like on the property. I think someone commented that. Thank you guys for all the comments. You guys keep me way more up to date than what I could ever do on my own.
Thanks for doing all the research. Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever the reasons, whether it's trying to hide money from Christine for child support, which I'm very curious about that one as well, because we know that them moving in the last year, like, interest rates are high, prices are high. I don't know. It's an interesting choice to move then, and it would have had to cost an arm and a leg. The one thing, though, that, again, just Kody irks me so bad sometimes.
I have one of those things as well.
I think it's probably going to be the same thing.
Okay, yeah.
When he talked about the fact that now that they decided they want to move, he wants to sell, him and Robyn are fully on board with selling Coyote Pass. Was that your thing?
No, actually, but that's a good point. And both of us, when he said that, we both looked at each other and said, did he just actually say what
Did he just admit that?
we think he said? That, oh, now that it benefits me, I'm willing to sell this.
Yeah.
It literally is what he said. In other words, now that it benefits me, we're going to make this happen right away.
Yeah, because up to this point, maybe if these other women needed to be able to have money to be able to invest in a house for themselves or to move on with their lives and what they needed to do, that doesn't matter to Kody. So why would he care or put effort into it? So the fact that he was so blatantly obvious and said the words like, oh, now that once Robyn and I decided that this is what we wanted, we're going to, you know, move forward with Coyote Pass, and we realize that we're ready to sell. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so selfish.
Speaking of selfish and speaking of Kody, one of the things that was said that I just kind of, we didn't really talk about this, but just is so frustrating. all of this stuff has happened to these poor kids, to this poor family that has just been blown apart at this point. And for all of his reasons for wanting to move were because things that he had to deal with. People made me sad. People left me. I got COVID. He didn't say anything about Robyn getting COVID and anyone else in the family getting COVID. I got COVID. I had this experience. I had this feeling. All of these things that he had is why they're moving. And I hope for the sake of this family that the way it was edited made it seem more selfish than what he actually said in this conversation. But it was all about him.
Yeah. No, it totally is. And Robyn having a second to say, oh yeah, well, I was sad and depressed in this house too. She had like a moment to try to say that, but we know that she had even mentioned in the last episode, though she wasn't sure about moving because she's like, well, it's more on the inside. Like, I think she wouldn't have moved on her own. It was Kody coming and saying, this is what I want. Me. All these things happen to me. It's painful for me. I want the big table. me.
Yeah.
And how can I get Robyn on board? Well, I can call it her dream house and try to find these other things that are going to make her happy in it so I can get what I want. Right. And he even mentioned too, I think, the fact that with the other wives, there was no way really for him to get his way. Because he basically had to keep saying like, okay, well, whatever you want. And he's like, Robyn was the first person who like made space for me or cared about what I wanted. And it's like, okay, so you have the opportunity to get whatever you want with Robyn. And that is what's appealing to you. And he calls that loyalty. Like
loyalty and respect. She respects me.
She respects me because she'll do whatever I want and will do everything my way. And yeah, I mean, he's reaping what he sowed.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't know where his mind was when he married all of the wives.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously, I couldn't handle being married to 4 women. I mean, at that part, I don't blame him or anyone else that has a difficult time with it. But he made that commitment. He made that choice. No one forced him into it. So at this point, all the excuses and me, they didn't. He even said in another episode that the reason I'm not rushing to sell Coyote Pass is because they're not nice. Literally said that. And it's just like, dude, grow up.
Yeah. They're not nice to the person who strung them along for years and years and wouldn't let them go and wouldn't give them attention or the things that they deserved as wives because you went into a marital bond with them. Like, it's very frustrating. So frustrating.
And when Robyn says, you realize how you sound right now, right? He says, I don't care.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Classic Kodyism. Kodyism. Ooh, that's a new one.
Kodyism.
Yeah, a new Kodyism. Please leave in the comments how long you think they're going to last in this house. Because Robyn, from years and years ago, had talked about the fact that she didn't want to move all the time. And all the other wives were like, you married the wrong guy then. You married the wrong guy if you don't want to move. And she was like, I want like a home base. I want to be settled. Like she has talked about that for every single move, from them moving from Utah to Vegas to Flagstaff, like that she wants that home base and she doesn't want to be uprooted. And so now I'm very curious, now that he got her, the dream house, they're in this dream house and they're starting fresh, so there's no painful memories for Kody. And I'm just curious how long y'all think he's going to last in this before he gets antsy and wants to move somewhere else.
My guess, and this is for no apparent reason at all, 0 reason, but 5 years.
Definitely doesn't line up with his
every other time
timeline.
has been 5 years.
But anyway, drop in the comments what you think and stay tuned every single week. It's going to be interesting to see where this season continues to go and if they sign on. Also, let us know if they're going to do another season. I've heard rumors. Should I not say my rumors? I've heard yes, but they're rumors. Okay, but like, is this what we're going? We're going to have like eggplant parties and hailstorms and an emotional baggage move. Like, is this what we're doing now? We're just doing like everyone gets their 15 minutes to shine and we're just going to separate it up like that? Is that every episode from like here on to forever? I know that some of you have guessed that in order to keep the show going, they're going to have to bring on another wife.
And
She's going to take Truly's room.
I mean, you're not wrong with that. I mean, if they really want to keep this going, I'll bet you Kody would do it for the show. Well, and he already admitted why he would do it if he ever does. And you all heard that. So anyway, but thank you all so much for being here. We were just going on and on. This is like the longest video. Thank you all so much for being here with us, and we look forward to talking with you soon.
Talk to y'all soon.